Hi there, my name is Irene and welcome to a new video on the Shugridu channel. My Q16. Still have my foot pressed down. This YouTube channel is all about quilting, patchwork, creative stuff. So this video is going to be about my Q16, a new family member in the Shugridu studio. And I am getting to know this machine a little bit. So in a few videos ago, while I was still pregnant, I unpacked this machine, and after that baby Ella was born, and I did do some quilting on it and I tried it out a bit, but I'm still learning. So I thought, let's take you with me on this journey on getting to know this machine. So today I am going to show you how to set up the machine, so what settings there are, because I was surprised by how simple the interface is. So you have options, but they all make sense and there's not a ton of options, so I think that's a good thing. And I'm going to thread it and just run some stitches and show you how it goes. So let's tell you a little bit about the interface here. So we have here a few options on this side of the machine, and here is your thread tension, so you can actually set it from here. This is our thread tension. This is if you want to have your foot up or down. Here we have profiles. So if you have your machine brand new, then you would have one factory profile. So this is how it's set up. And you can make more profiles yourself. So that's just saved settings. Here we have information about our bobbin. So whenever you wind up a new bobbin, you can say here that it's 100% full, or maybe you've wound it halfway, so that will give you an estimate of how much thread there is still left on your bobbin. And then we have the home screen over here, where you can see different types of BSR, and BSR is short for Bernina stitch regulator. So these are three options that you can use for regulating your stitches. And here you can see the settings, stitches per inch. So it says 10 stitches per inch. You can dial that up so you have more stitches per inch, which means that your stitches will be smaller, or less stitches per inch, which means your stitches will be bigger. And whenever it's yellow, it means something changed, so you can press it to go back to basic stitches, to basic settings. And this RPM is how fast your needle is going to go up and down. Whenever you press down on your pedal, your needle is going to move at this speed, and then when you start moving, it's going to regulate your stitches on 10 per inch. I have my bobbin thread pulled up. I'm going to show you in a minute how you do that. But as you can see, when I press my foot down, the machine just starts moving up and down. And when I move the quilt, it's going to regulate the speed. So that is what happens. So now my foot is up. So whenever I put my foot down, it's going to move at a steady pace. And this is 250 RPM. And then when I move, it's going to regulate the size of the stitches, so that all the stitches will be as big as 10 stitches per inch. When I now increase this, you should see that the needle is going to go up and down way faster. So what I changed in my settings is the RPM, so the steady pace of the needle. See? Steady pace of the needle is way faster. So when I'm not moving the quilt, there's a steady pace. And whenever I am moving, the stitches are still being regulated in the same way, 10 stitches per inch. but the steady pace is way higher. Then the second one in this menu is BSR2. BSR2 is less options. As you can see here, there are 2 options and BSR2 only has 1 option. So there's only the option to regulate how many stitches per inch you want. So here you can see the bigger the stitches per inch number, and when you have 24 stitches per inch, your stitches are tiny. And when you have only 1 stitch per inch, well, each stitch will be 1 inch long, so yeah, the stitches will be bigger. Let's set it to 10 and let's see what happens when I start quilting. So I now press down my foot and nothing happens. When I move, the machine starts quilting, and now I still have my foot pressed down, but when I don't move, the needle just stays still. So I move, and when I stop moving, I still have my foot pressed down, but it's not moving because it doesn't have the rest pace on this setting. So you really have to move, and when you stop, the machine stops. The third option over here is BSR3, and that is having your stitches per inch on 1, 2 or 4 stitches per inch. And this is if you want to baste your quilts, or at least that was the use that I could think of it. So if you want to baste your quilt on your machine, you could do 1 stitch per inch. And below here you have settings which are the same, whatever option for the BSR you choose. So that is what does the heel. So when you press down with the heel, what happens? Does it make a knot? Does your needle go up or down? Does it make a foot go up or down? So make a knot, needle, foot, or nothing happens. And the other one is when you press down the heel now, it will start sewing, and then when you press down the heel again, it will stop. So let me press down my heel. It will start, you hear the machine, and only when I press down my heel again, it will stop. So that is kind of a foot-free option, so you can take your foot off the pedal when you use this one. Yeah, those are 3 settings. Well, then I do think it's nice to talk a little bit about those first 2 settings, so BSR1, BSR2, and which you use in which case or what I like about them, because I think it's personal preference which you want to use when. I love to use the BSR1, so that one has a steady pace, and when you start moving it regulates your stitches, but that one feels for me like it's always ready to go. So even though with the BSR2 setting, so that one is still when you stop and it starts moving, or it starts needle moving, the needle starts moving whenever you move your quilt. That one is ready to go, but it feels more convenient for me to use the first setting. So the second setting is quick, so when you start moving, the needle starts working, or when you start moving your quilt, your needle starts moving up and down right away, but it is still. So when you're in the corner, for example, when you want to go one way and you're in the corner and then want to go the other way, I like that the BSR1 keeps stitching. So it keeps stitching, and when you're standing still in the corner, it's still stitching, and then you go down, so that you will never have a stitch that is almost in your corner and then going down because you stopped and it has to pick up pace again. So I love to use the BSR1 setting because it's always moving and ready to go. Yeah, so I think it's a little bit personal preference. If you have such a machine, a Q16 2024, just try out both those settings, and don't be afraid to play with the settings and to put some numbers in there and see what's going to happen. Yeah, so That's the main menu on this machine. I think it's really convenient, or there's not too many options, so it's easy to understand what it does, I think. Yeah, I really like it. And now let me show you how to put in the thread and just do some quilting. So the general path for your thread to go is to go up through here. It goes through here, around here, through this slot, and then down and up and down, and then it will go to your needle. So first from here it goes up, and then through these two slots, and then it goes down. From here you will pull it through this slot, and then it will go through here. So when your thread reaches the other side, so it comes through here, then you go down, then you go up, then you actually have to thread this part. It's not too hard. There's a big hole. Oops. Me saying it's not too hard. Can always open this door. So there we go. Threaded it in there, and then we go down. And then we get to the final part of threading this machine. We go through here, and then underneath here. Then it is time to thread our needle. So we will use our needle threader. Put your thread under, push it down, then a tiny loop will go through the eye of the needle, and that will pull up your thread. Just going to show you that again because I think it's so cool. So we have our thread through here, and then we will use the needle threader to press down. It will go through the eye of the needle. Then I'll just loosely hold my thread over here, and then it will pull the thread through the eye of the needle. So let's start quilting a little bit, but first we need to bring up our bobbin thread. And planning to use this ruler just to demonstrate some stitching. Now I press down with my heel and I hold on to my top thread. And what happens is that the bottom thread is going to be pulled up. Just going to show that again. Pulling back my bobbin thread down. So I hold on to my top thread. I press down with my heel. Then a needle goes down and up once. And then you can see here the bobbin thread is going up. And that's what you want. So I have my bobbin thread over here and my top thread, and I'm just going to make some stitches at the same spot so that I am ready to go. So these threads are now fixed, so when I've stitched a little bit I can clip these off. So let's just move up my foot, place my needle or place my ruler, and let's do some stitching. As you can see, I am now using the one with the steady pace, so whenever I'm in a corner it's still stitching, so only stops now because I've lifted my foot from the pedal. And I'm going to use these tiny black guides and placing this little guide on the line that I've just stitched, and then we're going to make a nice little flower. So to prevent from this thread being caught up in my stitching, I'm just going to clip it. There we go. So when I really want to stop to reposition my ruler, I have to actually lift my foot from the pedal. Whereas, let me set the setting to BSR2 now. So then I press down on my foot and nothing happens. Only when I start quilting, yeah, when I start moving my fabric, my needle is going to move. Just think about the word needle. But yeah, when I start moving like this, my needle is going to move again, and when I stop, it stopped. But it doesn't really feel too safe to have my foot down, and I know that it's going to stop moving the needle, but you just have to slightly move the fabric and the needle is going to go up and down again. So when I'm repositioning my ruler over here, I have my foot lifted from the paddle. I'm not comfortable enough to leave it down, even though I know it's supposed to stop. So this is what BSR2 setting looks like. It's also really comfortable. So then it stops in a corner. I still have my foot down, but it stops because I stopped moving. And you see, there's just tiny movement of fabric. The needle will start moving again. So there we have a little quilted flower. And now I press down with my heel. And that will bring up my needle again. There we go. Let's clip off this. And what you can maybe see happening over here, when I pull this thread a little bit, is that there is a little loop. And that loop is my bobbin. So I just want to pull it up a little bit, then clip it, and then when I move it, I have my top thread and my bobbin thread over here, and this is cut off. So yeah, there's a tiny quilted flower. And that was a very short demonstration of the settings on my Q16, threading it and doing some first stitches. Yeah, so if you want to use BSR1 or BSR2 setting, both are great and they are quick, and yeah, just try them out and see which one you like best. If you have experience with this machine and have questions about it, leave them down in the comments below. Who knows, maybe I can make a video about it and give you some more demos on this machine. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in another video. Bye!